I was going to say, like, I think people are just starting to realize what they can do in that. You know, like, imagine that game, you build up your own character, you turn that into an NFT, you put it on the marketplace, you sell that, you do the levels. There's going to be a huge amount of features. There's going to be a huge amount of things opening up. Like, as I said, we've got games now that have implemented Stormfi within. Now you've not just got, like, GameFi within it and DeFi within it. You're making the user experience so much easier, so much more streamlined. It's not like I've got to go somewhere, connect a wallet, and do all of that stuff. You've got the wallet within the game. You can purchase. You could get NFTs. You can get the currency, move it, change it within the game. And this is the bit that is like, this is how you're going to get all these users in. There's no point us trying to go after the 2 million crypto users. These are the users. These are the key users that sort of are gamers, but don't realize that it can be Web3 and then they're using it. So, this is the huge
And
potential.
also, it's also casual gaming. You look at the games that actually take off, the 2049, that was kind of that puzzle back in the day, the Fruit Ninja, the Angry Birds, everything is very basic and minimalistic.
Yeah.
People just want the experience. They don't care about where that experience is being hosted as long as it's smooth.
Yeah.
Right? You look at Maze Runner. Now there's actual projects on Ton that are launching that have the Maze Runner feature, right? Where your collection of tokens is you doing the entire experience. So it's now more than just the mindless tapping. Now people are getting more creative because they realize that's bare bone base level. Now people are like, okay, I'm getting excited. I'm bullish on this decentralization. I get it, makes sense. There's an infrastructure layer with almost 1 billion people that you can build upon instantly, but I need money. I have a good idea, I need funding. Where do I look? Who do I look for? How do I position myself? How do I present myself? Maybe I'm introverted, maybe I'm extroverted, I'm not a tech guy, but I have really good ideas, I'm a marketer. Maybe I'm a nerd, I'm behind the laptop, but I don't know how to piece this together to take it to market. What's the advice, what are the thoughts for the community?
I think it's really like three or four things. I'll go through them one by one.
Please.
Number one, I think the great part about Telegram and Ton collectively is you can build a sustainable revenue generating business from day one. You can get customer traffic with Telegram ads. You can get listed on the Telegram App Center, which I think in the last 4 months had 22 million app starts. You can use referral links and things like this from day one, and you can basically create a cash positive business on day one. So you see a lot of projects who don't even really raise anymore. They're like, okay, we're making enough money from day one. So that's the journey a lot of folks have taken. You also see people saying like, hey, we're way earlier on the getting ourselves to market our MVP, and maybe we need some grant funding to make that decision make sense, right? Because in many ways, being a founder is completely irrational. So having like some amount of grant funding to make that decision a little bit more rational is something like the foundation has been doing, and they did some acceleration efforts as part of that. And a lot of the Ton Foundation's acceleration efforts would be the third bucket. So we did this accelerator with Hashkey and Future 3 Foundation, where we basically brought cohorts of 10 to 15 teams in. We gave them grant money, we gave them investment money, we got them started there. A lot of that work has now been spun out of the foundation. So there's like 3 or 4 great accelerators that folks can now join around different themes, kind of Animoca and Ton Accelerator focused on gamings and things like that for those folks. And then there's, Ton Ventures, which is recently launched and really focused on seeding the ecosystem and strong builders and development talent with funds to help them on their journey.
There's also the hackathons as well.
Yep.
We had big hackathons. I think 1,200 projects entered. We've got Ton Society. And this is Ton Society. These are the local hubs. You go along there instead of, go along there, talk to people, show them your ideas. That gets passed around.
That's really good. Yeah, I was talking about this with some of the board at Ton, and we were talking about, I have a big entrepreneur community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they're not the devs. They're not the people that understand how the smart contract works, or they're not necessarily behind the computer. They're on the marketing side. They're more on the business development side. So I encourage them, hey, go to these hackathons, go to these events, even though it might be outside of your profile. That's where you want to go because you want to find somebody that synergizes with a profile that you're not fit. If you're on the on the dev side, go to a little bit more of these broader big events, these ABS, because there's a ton of TON events taking place at the Asia Blockchain Summit as well, where you're going to meet a more broad group of people. But that's usually what the advice that I give.
It is, and I get asked all the time. It's like, oh, how, you know, can you give me some money? You know, like, oh, like, I need a grant. It's like, there's a lot of skill. Everyone's got skill sets, and you might not be a dev. You might be brilliant at UX. You might be great at marketing or design or content creation. You could go to one of the society events, meet one of the devs that probably doesn't have the UX skills or doesn't have the marketing skills. Maybe start working, learn how all of this stuff works. Then you're like, oh look, I work with this game, and then you start building up. And I'm seeing this a lot now. What's really, really cool in crypto, and I've been in banking for nearly 20 years, all of these crypto projects have people from the community that are now working out there. Yes. It's like, I can't imagine like working, you know, in a banking community and then working actually at the bank. You know, the step is so difficult to get in. With crypto, we see, you know, especially at Stonefire, you know, I've got community mods, I've got loads of people that have been in the community, and then they've come in. Or like we've said, look, this guy's in our community, and we know, like, does he want to work for like this Ton project or this project that we've seen in there? Crypto, Telegram, Ton, everything is giving us real options. So you're not just investing and then forgetting about it. You can really get involved. And I feel that's where value, and that's where you really have value.
I agree fully with that. You know, I resonate with what you say there, because crypto is what I tell people is the path of least resistance with potentially the highest upside. Yeah. Because you can start as just somebody who's positive inside the community, and you'd be surprised you'll be offered a job.
Yeah.
Just by being positive and being around. That's how crypto works, because your ability to access founders, like you'll see these projects, right? Like you open up the Tonkeeper app and you look at all the apps. Yeah. You're like, wow, these must be all fully developed, fully built out teams. No, they still need help. Like people here are still real humans. They're still looking for hires. Your ability to get involved with these communities is super easy. Join the Telegram group, start chatting. You don't have to open up you're just in one ecosystem, in one central space. Talk to me a little bit about people looking for grants. What's the process there? How do they position themselves? What is it that, not necessarily even just TON grants, but just VCs in general, because it's still a big point of conversation. How do you position yourself?
I think let's just make it getting funds more generally.
Yeah, let's do that.
And say that that's grants and investment. You want to be utilizing the design space that is unique to TON and Telegram, right? So, you know, I'm also love Solana great as well, right? One thing that they did was really cool is, you know, they had this low latency, low cost blockchain, right? And this opened up all this interesting design space. And one of those, you know, spaces was doing central limit order books on chain. And it was the first time that you could do this on a blockchain because of like how their architecture worked and like all that, right? And TON and Telegram's like value proposition is different. Now it's about like, okay, how do we use the social graph of Telegram? Okay, we're doing this like virality stuff with ref links. That's interesting. Where do we go next? Okay, Telegram is inherently a private social graph, right? Whereas Telegram or Twitter is a public social graph. How do we take the private social graph of Telegram and actually make it more public so you can like monetize it in different ways? So basically, you wanna look at the teams that are exploring this unique design space to TON and Telegram, and those are the teams that most often get backed with grants or outside investment. And these type of things. And I do think that you look at a lot of the projects, you know, Stonefire and what Cadison is doing and TapSwap, and these guys are exploring design space that has not been explored before. And that's unique and it's powerful and it gets funded.
Now, one of the cool features is people in the United States or people in first world countries, you know, they're like, well, this whole crypto thing doesn't make sense to me because I can just use Cash App. I can get Venmo and I can send money. But we just had something roll around in the near past where now you can send stable coins to Telegram usernames. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about that, because the international remittance capabilities of this thing is insane. I've never seen something like that. And you know, when you imagine, for example, MetaMask back in the day, I was like, I wish I could save usernames on here. That was my thought. I wish I could chat with people on my MetaMask and be like, hey, can I test this and just send a transaction and have that conversation? Never happened. It's possible now with TON, with Telegram. What are your thoughts?